All right, so this log is really pretty cool. It was injured at some point, and on the bark you could actually see the injury and see where the sap had like run down and discolored the bark. But even under it, like you can tell the sap is coming out from inside the wood, and so this is fully debarked. Now today it's like 16 degrees out today, so well, it's warmer than that now. I think we're actually up closer to freezing now. But the sap is hard because it's so cold out. But it will like soften when it gets hot. So we're kind of curious to see what that does. We'll find out. I mean, I think it's fine to build with because it's so pretty solid. But this whole like piece of sap that's in here, I think is really cool. I'm excited to see like how it develops over time because they definitely do change with time. A few other things that are cool to talk about, just to touch base. So this is an unpainted end of a log. And let me see if I can capture it here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's sticky little bubbles of sap kind of coming out of the end. And this is also why, if you ever like look at my clothes and want to see my belly, hi. Okay, so keep it all going the same way. Hi. So when you look at my belly, like if you notice, I end up with a lot of like sticky debris and sap on my waist. And it's because that's where I lean on the end. And so those sticky bits of sap and then pick up debris from all over the place. As we kind of complete logs, we paint the ends just with like regular old latex paint. So that's where these, you can tell they look a little different. They're white on the end. And that is actually to slow down the drying process because all of the sap will like pour out through the ends and it'll actually dry the logs too fast and make them crack. So we paint the ends to force it to dry more slowly by slowly seeping out through the outside of the wood, instead of all pouring out through the ends. So that just helps like retain the integrity and make sure that they dry properly. And then they will shrink a little bit. So that's the other thing that that's the other reason, like we kind of want to prep these. It's better to prep these about a season in advance, at least, a couple months in advance, because this way they have time to dry so that when we actually fit them together, we know that they're going to like stay that way, or at least stay closer to that, if that makes sense. They will always change with time, but it will less so once we get through the initial drying process. So we're going to have to do a better arch. Like we're going to have to be able to get some wheels to move these logs around. Right now we're really fortunate because you can tell like the forest is right here. Like we're just working near it. But the build is actually going to happen farther back on our property. It's like almost half a mile back. And so obviously we're going to need to be able to transport all of these logs about a half a mile up the trail back to the site where we want to put this cabin. So we'll figure that out as we go. Right now, we're just having fun cutting down trees and peeling the bark off them.